Hello there, and welcome back to Cuckoo for Books. My name is Salva, and today I'm doing my May wrap-up and favorites. First book I read this month is the second book in the Protector of the Small Quartet by Tamora Pierce, and it's Paige. I've been doing this rereading binge that I do usually during finals, and now I'm on the second book. I'm actually reading the third book now, so I'm trying to do like a book a month. The next book I read for the month of May is a reread, and it is Blood for Blood, Wolf by Wolf. The title's right there. It's Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Graudin. This was one of my favorite books last year. I decided why not give it a reread to sort of prep me and to get me geared up for the sequel. So after I read Wolf by Wolf, I then read Blood for Blood, and I have a review of this somewhere on my SD card, and I haven't edited it yet. The weird thing is, I hate alternative history. I'm not partial to books set during World War II. These two books completely changed my opinion on those two things. So this was quite a historical fiction month for me. I did not read any contemporary books, except for the Tamora Pierce book. I didn't read any fantasy or sci-fi. They were all historical fiction, which I didn't even notice until the month had ended. So the next up is The Serpent and the Pearl by Kate Quinn, a novel of the Borgias. And if you don't know who they are, they're that family, you know, who they became Pope, but they had kids and they were doing it with each other. Like the Lannisters in real life, if you watch Game of Thrones. And it did get me very intrigued, and I sort of now want to read all about these naughty people who lived 500 years ago. The last book that I read, and this was insane, I read it from May 30 to May 31st. Probably the fastest I've ever read a book. I was surprising myself even. I was like, how fast am I going with this book? It was a reread, which might account for it, but it is The Lux by Anna Godberson. The Lux is set in turn of the century New York before the 1900s, and it's all about fancy dresses and fancy houses, and what do I love? I love those things. It might be a little young for me now. Sometimes when you reread a book, your love for it grows. Sometimes it diminishes. I still think it's a good series. First time I read it, I was like, oh, this is so highbrow fiction. This is like general fiction. It's not for young adults. And rereading it now, I'm like, no, it's definitely for young adults. But that's not a bad thing. I have more favorites this month versus last month because I don't know why. The first favorite I have for this month is the beach. Just weird. But I haven't been to the beach in like 4 months. I got good and burnt. Next favorite I have would be, I didn't know how to show this, is poker, but this isn't poker. This is a deck of cards. While on the said trip to the beach, my friends and I, we all learned poker. Next favorite are 2 TV shows. I just get those moods sometimes where I'm like, I could just live on Law & Order SVU, and I want to illustrate that by my DVD set. I think people laugh. I've been laughed at because I still carry DVD sets around, but there's no internet and there's no Netflix. Who's gonna be laughing at me with my DVD set that don't need no Wi-Fi? This month I also really like the TV show Reign. All the current TV shows have ended. Now I can sort of go back and watch Reign because I started from the first season, which was a while back, so now I'm on season 2. So now that the shows are ending, it's now taken the spotlight in my viewing life. The next favorite I have is The Sad Little Bar of Turtles. My mom always buys this whenever we're in the States, and I never gave it any attention. I was like, oh, she's buying her mom chocolate again. And she brought like 3 bars home, and I ate 2 of them because they're really good. So I'm not gonna eat this last one because she brought it home, and I'm not gonna I understand the rules of food. We were talking about this because that's what we do in life. We talk about the merits of chocolate and compare it with other chocolate. If you guys know the chocolate Toffifee, it's like a tamer, less annoying version of that because Toffifee is so good that you eat it and you just like shove a handful into your mouth, and then afterwards you hate it. You're like, why did I do that? I hate this chocolate. This is like a nicer, more mellow version of that where you can eat it and still be like, we good chocolate, we good. My next favorite for this month is this tin of ice cream. It's empty now because I ate it. So this month I tried a new ice cream place called Pharmacy in the Fort. It's probably the best salted caramel I've ever tasted in my life. Last favorite I have is this candle, which is fresh balsam. My mom lit it all around the house during Christmas and I hated it. But then when I came home, it immediately brought me back to Christmas, so I'm like, now I love it. And that about does it for my May wrap-up and favorites. You can follow me on my other bookish adventures on Twitter and Instagram, both at Cuckoo for Books. Please subscribe and I will see you guys very soon. Bye guys!